guys, welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, The Bright Side Girl, and today we're going to be talking about my most anticipated releases for 2022, Part 1. This is going to be releases that I'm most excited about for the first part of the year. A lot of the releases that come out later in the year don't get announced for a while, so I'm only going to be doing January through June, and then I will do a July through December or sometime in June to continue on. I was not very good about reading new releases last year, but that's something I really want to do more this year. I usually read about 12 a year. I think last year I only read 3. It was a weird reading year. I'll link some videos up here where I kind of talk about why. But I am actually very excited about a lot of the releases coming out for various reasons that I'll talk about as we're talking about the books, more so than I've been in a couple years. Almost all of these are young adult. I think I might have 1 or 2 adult books and 1 or 2 like middle grade books, but for the most part I like to read young adult books, so that's mostly what this is. I might not have some of the most popular reads on here purely because I haven't started that series, or I'm not overly excited for it because it's not next up on my list, so just kind of keep that in mind. There might be some things on here that you haven't heard of before, which is kind of fun. I don't do a ton of debut authors just because I kind of like other people to read them and let me know if they're good, because I have so many TBR books. But yeah, just a kind of disclaimer about the type of list that I have here. All right, so we're gonna get started with January. Coming out January 4th, which is already passed, and this is the one I'm going to try to read this month, is Echoes and Empires by Morgan Rhodes. I haven't read the Fallen Kingdom series yet, which is her big young adult series, but I know she's a good author and I want to check out this new series. It sounds really great. A snarky 17-year-old must team up with an enigmatic criminal to cure herself of a dangerous forbidden magic in this first book of a new YA fantasy. In this world, magic is rare, illegal, and can be deadly, so that sounds pretty cool. On January 11th, we have The Bone Spindle by Leslie Vedder. So this one was described to me as Indiana Jones meets Sleeping Beauty. And it's for fans of Sorcery of Thorns and All the Stars and Teeth. Sounds real great. That's really all I needed to know. I love retellings. I add a lot of retellings to my list every year. The cover's very cool, but it's about a treasure hunter and a warrior, and it just sounds super good. Coming out January 18th is Edgewood by Kristen Ciccarelli. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. No matter how far she runs, the forest of Edgewood always comes for Emmeline Lark. The scent of damp earth curls into her nose, and when she sings, the moss creeps across the stage, as if the woods are her childhood, shrouded in folklore and tall tale. They're all trying to reclaim her, but Emmeline has no patience for silly superstitions. So, magic, song / performance sounds really good. It's giving me Strange Sweet Song vibes, which was one of my top 10 reads of last year. So really looking forward to it. Then on January 25th, we have In Every Generation. This is Kendare Blake's newest book, and I love her Three Dark Crown series, and I haven't read a lot of other things from her, so I'm excited to check this one out. So this is a new slayer for a new generation. Frankie Rosenberg is passionate about the environment, a sophomore at New Sunnydale High School, and the daughter of a most powerful witch in Sunnydale history. Her mom, Willow, is slowly teaching her magic on the condition that she will use it to make the world better. But Frankie's happily quiet life is upended when new girl Haley shows up with news that the Slayer Convention has been a target of an attack, and all the Slayers, including Buffy, Faith, and Haley's older sister V, might be dead. That means it's time for this generation's Slayer to be born. Oh my god, I'm just now realizing this is a continuation of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Mind blown. I was like, wait, what's happening? I have never watched or read anything Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I might read Slayer by Kiersten White first because I have that one. Let me know if that's a good idea. I'm excited about this. So we have a vampire hunter. Excellent. Moving on to February. Okay, February 1st is Castles in Their Bones by Laura Sebastian, who wrote the Ash Princess series that I loved last year, so I really want to check out more from her. It's a spellbinding story of 3 princesses and the destiny they were born for: seduction, conquest, and the crown. Immerse yourself in this first book in a new fantasy trilogy. Okay, so they're born to be queens, and they have to each leave to go and marry different princes to be queens of different areas, and their mother has like raised them for this, and they're triplets. So I'm getting kind of Three Dark Crowns vibes, except I don't think that they have to kill each other for the throne. That combined with the author is a win. Also on February 1st is This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. I love Tahereh Mafi's Shatter Me series. One of my all-time favorites. It's kind of dystopian, kind of superhero sci-fi, kind of magic-y. so good. Lots of romance, really great. So I am game to check out anything from her. So this one is a new series. So it's clashing empires, forbidden romance, and a long-forgotten queen destined to save her people. So we've got a servant that's a long-lost heir to a throne. Sounds great. Coming out February 15th, we actually have an anthology. This is Reclaim the Stars, 17 Tales Across Realms and Space. So we've got a space, which I don't know if you guys can tell, but I've got like a space-themed sweatshirt on. Space and galaxy-themed short stories. This is edited by Zoraida Cordova. I don't know a lot of the authors that are in this, but I love anything sci-fi and the cover's really cool, so adding it. Coming out on February 22nd is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. So this is deadly storms have ravaged Mina's homeland for generations. Floods sweep away entire villages while bloody wars are waged over the few remaining resources. Her people believe in the sea god, once their protector, now curses them with death and despair. In an attempt to appease him, each year a beautiful maiden is thrown into the sea to serve as the sea god's bride, in the hopes that one day the true bride will be chosen and the suffering will end. We've got kind of Given to the Sea vibes. I'm hoping there's like some kind of mermaidiness, but I love anything around like ocean, lore, sea goddess, sea gods, all that kind of stuff. Also coming out on February 22nd is Only a Monster. I found this one via Instagram and the cover was beautiful and I love the title. Kind of got this Savage Song vibe to it. Should have been the perfect summer. Sent to stay in her late mother's eccentric family home in London, 16-year-old Joan is determined to enjoy herself. She loves her nerdy job at the historic Holland House, and when her super cute co-worker Nick asks her on a date, it feels like everything's falling into place. But she soon learns the truth. Her family isn't just eccentric, they're monsters with terrifying hidden powers, and Nick isn't just a cute boy, he's a legendary monster, Slayer, who will do anything to bring them down. So that sounds amazing, and it's kind of like got this Savage Song vibes, but reversed. That's really all I needed to know. And lastly, on February 22nd as well, is League of Liars by Astrid Schult. I have unintentionally kept up with Astrid just because she does standalones and they're really good. So I read Four Dead Queens like 2 years ago, The Vanishing Deep last year, and this is her newest book. I really like her stories. They're very unique. They're very different. They're kind of weird. So I'm really excited about this one. The cover is fantastic. So this is a fantasy thriller. 4 teens are charged with murder and the illegal use of magic. They band together to devise the ultimate jailbreak. So it's got Six of Crows and How to Get Away with Murder vibes. It sounds great, and I trust Astrid at this point, so checking it out. Now time for March. Now we have on March 1st, Gallant by Victoria Schwab. I've literally heard nobody talk about this. Not sure why. I have unintentionally, once again, I've purchased like all of Victoria's books. The titles and the covers and everything sound fantastic. She's kind of hit or miss for me. Her books all kind of have like a very dark undertone in like a heavy way, but you also still kind of think about them, so I need to kind of catch up, but this one sounds really good. So everything cast in a shadow, even the world we live in, and as with every shadow there's a place where it must touch, a seam where the shadow meets its source. So it's like a girl is going to like a boarding school and she's learning about magic and different worlds and universes, and it's Victoria Schwab, so I'm gonna check it out. Coming out March 1st as well is A Book of Living Secrets by Madeleine Roux. So excited for this. I love the House of Fury series from Madeleine Roux and I haven't read anything else from her. So this is perfect for fans of the Hazelwood. So no matter how different best friends Adele and Connie are, one thing they always have in common is their love of a little known gothic romance novel called Moira. So when the girls are tempted by a mysterious stranger to enter the world of the book, they hardly suspect it will work. But suddenly they are in the world of Moira, living amongst characters they've been obsessed with for years. Books where people fall into stories and books are my jam. And Madeleine Roux's writing is so dark and rich and lovely, so I'm very, very, very excited for this. Coming out March 22nd, hopefully, finally, I think the only adult book I have on this list is Destiny of the Dead, which is number 2 for Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade. I picked up Fate of the Fallen randomly 2 years ago, and I absolutely loved it. The audio in particular is so phenomenal. It's a fantasy. It's got a chosen one trope that's twisted on its head. There are gods and goddesses and elves and mages and warriors, and it's got a journey. It's got best friends. It's funny, which is fantastic. I cannot wait to reread it so that I can read this one. This one was supposed to come out last year and I was very sad that it didn't. She's taken a long time to write it, so I'm expecting it to be super, super good. I loved it so much, so I'm almost the most excited for this one. Coming out on March 29th is Forgery of Roses by Jessica S. Olsen. So this is Myra Whitlock has a gift one Minnie would kill for. She's an artist whose portraits alter people's real-life bodies, a talent she must hide from those who would kidnap, blackmail, and worse in order to control it. Guarding the secret is the only way to keep her younger sister safe now that their parents are gone. So that's a very unique magical talent. Sounds really cool. I love books that have to do with like magic and art, so sounds excellent. Now for April. Only one book I'm pumped about for this month, expected to release on April 5th for fans of Carvel and the Night Circus, Hotel Magnifique. So all her life, Janie dreamed of elsewhere, just barely scraping by with her job at a tannery. She's resigned to a dreary life in the port of Dirk, caring for her younger sister Zoza. That is until the Hotel Magnifique comes to town. The hotel is legendary, not only for its whimsical enchantments, but also for its ability to travel, appearing in different destinations every morning. While Jenny and Zoza can't afford the exorbitant cost of the guests' stay, they can interview to join the staff and are soon whisked away into the greatest adventure of their lives. Once inside, they discover their contracts are unbreakable and that beneath the marvelous glamour, the hotel is hiding dangerous secrets. I mean, fantastic. Sounds great. I haven't actually read The Night Circus yet. I really need to. But this sounds phenomenal and it does give me Carvel vibes. The cover's amazing. Now moving on to May. Coming out May 3rd is Bravely by Maggie Stiefvater. I'm excited for this. This is a retelling or reimagining or a continuation of Brave. Pixar film? I think it's Pixar. And it's about Mirda and she goes on an all new life-changing adventure and the cover is phenomenal. Just everything you want in a book. Coming out May 3rd is Forging Silver into Stars by Bridget Kemmerer. I never know how to pronounce her name. I haven't read anything from her, but this sounds amazing and I've heard good things and I have a lot of her books. It says, when ancient magic tests a newfound love, a dark fate beckons. Magic has been banished from the land of Sil Shadow for as long as best friends Jax and Callan can remember. They once loved the stories of the powerful mage smiths and mythical scravers who would conjure fire and control ice. But now they learn that magic only leads to danger. Magic is what killed Callan's parents, leaving her alone to raise her younger sister. Magic never helped Jax, whose leg was crushed in an accident that his father's been punishing him for ever since. And magic won't save either of them when the tax collector comes calling, threatening to take their homes if they can't pay what they owe. Doesn't say a whole lot, but I just like the cover and I like this author in theory. Like, I haven't read her books yet, but I feel like I'm gonna love them. So adding it to the list. Now on to an author I do know I like, and that is Kiersten White, who I met a few years ago, and she is so lovely. This is the first of her books that appears on this list, and that is Hide, and that comes out May 24th. A high-stakes hide-and-seek competition turned deadly. The challenge, spend a week hiding in an abandoned amusement park and don't get caught. The prize, enough money to change everything. Even though everyone is desperate to win, to seize their dreams, futures, or escape their haunting pasts, Mac feels sure that she can beat her competitors. All she has to do is hide, and she's an expert at that. The reason she's alive and her family isn't. But as the people around her begin to disappear one by one, she realizes this competition is more sinister than she imagined, and together might be the only way to survive. So we look like we have a survival read here, which is perfect timing because I'll be coming off of Hike-a-thon. I wish this was coming out before. I might try to get an arc of it. So I'll be in like a survival mode. I like reading this kind of stuff in the summer, and I like Kiersten White as well. And lastly, June. Talking about Kiersten White again, she has a lot of books coming out this year. I believe this is coming out June 7th, and this is about 12-year-old twins Theodore and Alexander and their older sister Wilhelmina, Sinister Winterbottom. Don't know how they ended up at Aunt Sophronia's for an entire summer. She's not exactly well equipped to handle children. The twins are determined to make it a good vacation, so when Aunt Sophronia suggests a water park, they hastily agree. So we look like we have a magical, dark, sinister water park. Kind of similar to Hide. She's got like a little theme going this year. This is a middle grade book, I think the only one on this list. And the cover looks cool and I want to check it out. Coming out June 14th is Rise of the Vicious Princes by CJ Redwine. So, This one, the cover is already giving me everything I need with the ocean water vibes. The first in a thrilling and romantic YA political fantasy duology about a fierce princess determined to bring lasting peace to her kingdom regardless of the cost of her heart. So Princess Sheris Wilthorn is a dutiful sword of Kelera. Raised to be ruthless and cunning, her goal is to hold her war-torn kingdom together long enough to find a path towards peace with their ancient foe, Ontivalo, even if it costs her heart. When violence erupts in the castle and an unseen enemy begins sinking her ships, she realizes a threat much greater than her enemy is coming for her people. She forms a plan. By day, she is Kelera's formidable princess, but by night, she disguises herself as a smuggler and roams the sea with a trusted group of loyalists hunting for their new enemies. Again, hoping for mermaidiness or piratiness. If not, it's still got like an oceany vibe to it, so I'm still excited about it, and I've heard good things about CJ Redwine. And lastly, coming out June 28th is The Dream Runners by Sveta Thackara. I know I'm not saying that correctly. This is the author of Stardaughter, I believe. So 7 years ago, Tanvi was spirited away to the subterranean realm of Nagalok, where she joined the ranks of the Dream Runners, human children freed of all memory and emotion, charged with harvesting mortal dreams for the consumption of the Naga court. Venkat knows a different side of Nagalok, and as apprentice to the influential Lord Nyan, he shapes the Dream Runners' wares into the kingdom's most tantalizing commodity. And Nyan has larger plans for these mortal dreams. With the dreamsmith of Venkat's talent, he believes he can use them to end a war between Nagas and their ancient foe, the Garadas. That sounds really cool. I love dream magic, so this sounds like it's going to be very unique, and I've heard amazing things about Stardaughter, which I need to read as well. So excited to look into it. Okay, you guys, so those are all the things I'm most excited about for 2021. I know I'm missing some really key players here, but that's okay. I almost never purchase new releases. I almost never pre-order. I would like to more to support the authors, but I have a limited book budget and I get a lot of my things used, or I do a lot of trading to get new releases if I like them. But honestly, I usually like to read or listen to them before I purchase them, just because new releases are so expensive. And a lot of times they're not that great. So, tip for you, if you are reading on your Kindle or on Overdrive, audiobook wise, you can go to your library on Overdrive. I think this is only on Overdrive. I don't think you can do this on Hoopla, and Libby probably as well. You can recommend books, and what you do is you type the name in of the book that is coming out, and then scroll down to where it's not available. And most of the time, if it's popular, it will be there even if it's not out yet. And it will be at this bottom page. I'll try and put a little graphic up here for you, and then just hit recommend. And what happens is a lot of libraries don't spend a lot on new releases, some do, so this will vary. My library is really good about getting new releases, so when they do purchase it, I wind up going to the top of the list for placing a hold because I requested it in advance. So the earlier you can do this, recommending it, the earlier you're going to get the book when they do purchase it. Now, they might not get it for months after it comes out, but it never hurts. And the more people that recommend the books, the more likely they are to purchase them. So I hope that all makes sense. That's a little tip I have for getting new ebooks and audiobooks from the library, getting in like the top of the order of the list. I'll be doing some more tips and tricks videos like this coming out this year, so stay tuned for that. So let me know what you're most excited about reading this year, new release wise, down below in the comments. Hit me up with anything new adult, nonfiction, anything that you're really jazzed that's coming out soon. I do try to read a lot of backlist books as well, but you know, you gotta check out those new releases. Don't forget to follow me along on Instagram at The Bright Side Girl, and I will see you guys next time on The Bright Side.